We are counting down the 15 car brands that are no longer worth your money. From faded luxury legacies to mainstream giants plagued by recalls, these brands are bleeding customers, tanking in resale value, and failing on reliability, costing buyers more than ever before. Rising prices and crumbling consumer trust set the stage, and some names on this list will surprise you. Which automaker suffered the steepest fall? Let us begin our countdown with number 15. Infiniti once promised to bring Japanese luxury to American roads, launching in 1989 to challenge Lexus and Acura. But the numbers tell a different story. US sales peaked at 153,000 units in 2017. By 2023, that figure had collapsed to just 75,000, down more than half in 6 years. In 2020, Infiniti pulled out of Western Europe entirely, unable to match rivals on quality, technology, or brand appeal. The damage does not stop at dwindling sales. Depreciation for Infiniti's flagship SUV, the QX60, averages a staggering 65% loss in value over 3 years, while a Lexus RX typically loses just 38% in the same period. Industry analysts and reviewers point to a lineup with aging platforms, uninspired design, and little to distinguish it from mainstream Nissan models. For buyers, that means a luxury badge with none of the lasting value or confidence you expect. Infiniti's story is a warning. Even a big name can fade into irrelevance, and take your investment with it. Chrysler once stood as a pillar of American car culture, but its current lineup tells a different story. In 2024, the brand moved just 140,000 vehicles in the US, nearly half the volume it managed in 2019. The showroom offers little choice: the Pacifica minivan and, until recently, the aging 300 sedan. The 300 sedan, discontinued after 2023, was still riding on a platform rooted in Mercedes engineering from the early 2000s, a legacy of the old Daimler Chrysler days. Stellantis, Chrysler's parent company, has publicly set a 2028 deadline to either reinvent the brand or phase it out entirely. Meanwhile, Chrysler has yet to deliver a single battery electric model, while rivals flood the market with new electric vehicles. For owners, this scarcity and outdated technology mean fast-falling resale values and growing doubts about long-term support. Once a household name, Chrysler now faces an uncertain future, with its survival hanging on promises that have yet to materialize. Mitsubishi's footprint in the US market has shrunk to the point of near invisibility. In 2024, the brand's share sits at just 0.8%, a sliver compared to rivals. The Mirage, once a go-to for bargain hunters, now limps along with a 1.2-liter three-cylinder engine that manages only 76 horsepower. For shoppers, the numbers behind Mitsubishi's lineup are hard to ignore. Consumer Reports' 2024 Reliability Survey ranks the brand at the bottom, citing frequent issues with aging designs and inconsistent build quality. Depreciation is another blow. The Outlander loses an average of 58% of its value after just 3 years, making it one of the worst performers in its class. Executives have openly acknowledged that Mitsubishi is reevaluating its long-term commitment to the US market after years of sliding sales and weak demand. For buyers, that means high risk, not just in reliability, but in future support and resale value. When a brand's presence is this thin, owners are left with little safety net. Alfa Romeo's lineup seduces with Italian curves and badge heritage, but the romance wears thin once the warranty expires. In the latest J.D. Power Vehicle Dependability Study, Alfa Romeo ranked 29th out of 30 brands, with owners reporting far more problems than the industry average. The Giulia and Stelvio, praised for their design and driving feel, are frequent guests at service centers, with electrical glitches, infotainment meltdowns, and gearbox failures often appearing within the first 12,000 miles. For buyers, the pain does not end at the repair shop. 3-year depreciation hovers around 62%, meaning a $50,000 Giulia can lose more than $30,000 in value before its first major service. US sales have tumbled by nearly 40% since 2022, as word spreads about reliability woes and high ownership costs. Stellantis, Alfa's parent, has responded by shrinking the American dealer network by 40% in just 4 years. Enthusiasts may still dream, but the numbers tell a cautionary tale. Beauty fades fast when dependability and resale are missing from the package. The Navigator, Lincoln's flagship, now sells for an average of $95,000, putting it in direct competition with Cadillac and even some imported rivals. Yet, after just 3 years, a Navigator typically loses 52% of its value, while an Escalade holds onto more of its original price. That drop leaves early buyers with tens of thousands of dollars evaporated from their investment. Lincoln's lineup has shrunk to SUVs only after the Continental sedan was dropped in 2020. Inside, reviews consistently point out a strange mix. High-end materials in some places, but cheap plastics and cost-cutting obvious elsewhere. Even with premium pricing, interior quality remains inconsistent. The result: Lincoln's U.S. sales fell 18% in 2024, as buyers questioned whether the brand delivers true luxury or just a badge. For many, the promise of prestige simply does not match the reality or the resale math. Buick's American presence now feels like an afterthought, a brand more at home in Shanghai than Chicago. The average buyer age for Buick in the U.S. reached 67 in 2024, the oldest of any mainstream automaker. That number is not just trivia, it's a warning for anyone hoping to resell a Buick down the road. U.S. sales have dropped 32% since 2016, from 228,000 to just 155,000 vehicles in 2024. Meanwhile, Buick thrives in China, where General Motors sold over 600,000 units last year, almost 4 times its American total. Many Buicks sold in the U.S., like the Envision SUV, are now built in China on shared General Motors platforms, a move that has drawn skepticism from longtime buyers and auto analysts alike. Industry reports have long debated whether General Motors should pull the plug on Buick in America, but franchise agreements and Chinese demand keep the badge alive. For American buyers, this global split brings real risk as Buick's U.S. relevance fades. So does confidence in long-term support and resale value. The brand's shrinking footprint and aging customer base mean that a new Buick is more likely to become an orphaned asset, hard to sell and harder to justify. In today's market, brand heritage alone is not enough to protect your investment. Acura entered the U.S. market in 1986 as the first Japanese luxury badge, promising a new kind of premium experience. But nearly 4 decades later, the brand's identity has blurred, and its value proposition for buyers has faded. The second-generation NSX, once Acura's halo car and a symbol of engineering ambition, ended production after just 350 units in its final year. That exit left the lineup without a true flagship and removed a key reason for enthusiasts to look beyond mainstream Hondas. Inside most Acura models, the differences from Honda are less pronounced than ever. Switchgear, infotainment systems, and even dashboard layouts often feel like familiar territory, just with more leather and a higher price tag. For buyers expecting clear separation between a premium badge and its parent brand, the overlap is hard to ignore. Depreciation data adds another warning sign. The MDX, Acura's best-selling SUV, loses about 51% of its value within 3 years. By comparison, rivals from other Japanese luxury brands hold their value far better, leaving Acura owners with heavier financial losses at trade-in. Legal headaches have also surfaced. Class action lawsuits filed in federal court allege excessive oil consumption in certain turbocharged engines, affecting both Acura and Honda vehicles. While settlements have offered some relief, the underlying concern, higher maintenance costs and potential engine repairs, casts a shadow over long-term ownership. For shoppers cross-comparing luxury options, Acura's badge no longer guarantees strong resale or a truly premium experience. The brand's early lead in the segment has eroded, leaving buyers to weigh whether the extra cost delivers lasting value. Cadillac's journey over the last decade reads like a case study in strategic confusion. Since 2010, the brand has attempted 6 major repositionings, swinging from New York-based arts and luxury to V-Series performance, then to alphanumeric sedans, and now to an all-electric future. Each new direction left previous customers behind, eroded confidence, and made it harder for buyers to know what Cadillac really stands for. The result is visible in the numbers. Combined sales of the CT4 and CT5 sedans totaled just 28,000 units in 2024, less than half the volume of their ATS and Seats predecessors. Meanwhile, the Escalade, Cadillac's profit engine, commands transaction prices north of $90,000, but still ranks below average in J.D. Power's 2024 dependability study. Owners who paid top dollar now face a harsh reality. 3 years after purchase, an Escalade can lose up to $45,000 in value, a blow that rivals in the segment managed to avoid. The brand's push into electric vehicles has been anything but smooth. The Lyriq launch was marred by production delays and early software glitches, leaving would-be owners frustrated and dealers scrambling for answers. For a brand that once promised American luxury on par with Europe's best, these stumbles have been costly. Cadillac's constant reinvention, paired with unresolved quality issues, has turned what should be a safe bet into a risky proposition. Today, the badge carries a premium price, but offers little of the reliability or resale security that buyers expect from a true luxury contender. Volkswagen's reputation took a direct hit in 2015 when the Dieselgate scandal broke. It exposed a global emissions fraud that would cost the company more than $35 billion in fines, buybacks, and legal settlements. The immediate fallout was brutal. U.S. sales, which once peaked at 600,000 units in 2012, never recovered. By 2024, annual volume hovered around 354,000, down 41% from the pre-scandal high. The financial pain extended far beyond the initial penalties. Volkswagen's reliability scores have consistently lagged behind the industry average, with Consumer Reports ranking the brand 21st out of 30 in its 2024 survey. The problems did not end with combustion engines. Volkswagen's pawn into electric vehicles has been marred by a new wave of recalls and software failures. The ID.4, launched as the company's flagship electric vehicle, has faced multiple NHTSA recall campaigns for issues ranging from sudden power loss to infotainment system crashes and even door handles that can open unexpectedly. For owners, these defects translate into more time in the shop and less confidence on the road. Depreciation compounds the risk. Kelley Blue Book data shows that mass-market Volkswagens like the Tiguan and Atlas now lose 55 to 60% of their value in just 3 years, far steeper than segment leaders from Toyota or Honda. With the shadow of Dieselgate still looming and fresh reliability concerns in the electric vehicle era, Volkswagen buyers face a double burden: legal baggage from the past and new headaches few saw coming. For many, the brand's promises of German engineering now come with a warning label. Nissan's troubles run deeper than a few bad model years. In fiscal 2024, the company posted a staggering $6.9 billion loss, its worst financial result on record. The fallout was immediate, with global factory closures, 9,000 job cuts, and a wave of uncertainty for both workers and owners. U.S. sales have fallen 22% since 2019, as buyers drifted toward fresher, more reliable options. The product lineup tells its own story. The Frontier pickup, a mainstay of Nissan's U.S. offerings, rode on a platform first introduced in 2005. It was not until 2022 that a full redesign arrived, leaving years of pent-up demand and a reputation for stagnation. But nothing has done more lasting damage than Nissan's troubled continuously variable transmissions. Over 3 million vehicles have been swept up in class action lawsuits, alleging premature CVT failures, including Altima, Rogue, Sentra, Versa, and more. Court records show that plaintiffs accused Nissan of ignoring internal warnings about high failure rates, opting for limited fixes rather than full redesigns. Nissan, for its part, has denied wrongdoing, but agreed to settlements offering extended warranties and partial reimbursements. For owners, that means the risk of expensive out-of-warranty repairs remains, often running into thousands of dollars per incident. The Z-Car revival, once hyped as a return to form, fizzled with just 3,400 units sold. Across the board, Nissan's lineup is caught between aging platforms, legal headaches, and a shrinking dealer presence. For consumers, the brand's financial distress and ongoing litigation translate directly into higher risk. With less support, lower resale values, and a future clouded by uncertainty, In today's market, the cost of buying into a struggling brand is more than just sticker shock. It is a gamble with few upsides. Jeep has managed to turn its most loyal fans into frustrated skeptics, all while charging more than ever for the privilege. The Wrangler, once a symbol of rugged value, now carries an average transaction price of $58,000, up 35% since 2020. Yet that premium does not buy peace of mind. Consumer Reports' 2024 reliability rankings place Jeep near the very bottom, 26th out of 30 brands, flagging repeated trouble with electronics, drivetrain components, and off-road hardware that should be this brand's bread and butter. The Grand Cherokee 4xe, Jeep's plug-in hybrid flagship, has become a case study in how not to launch new technology. In just 2 model years, it has been hit with 8 separate recalls, ranging from battery fire risks to sudden stalling and software failures that can leave owners stranded or unable to charge at all. Each recall is a blow to owner confidence, but the cumulative effect is even worse. Extended downtime, repeated trips to the dealer, and a sense that Jeep is using paying customers as beta testers. For decades, Jeep could count on buyer loyalty to weather these storms. But loyalty is now in freefall, down 28% from 2020 to 2024, according to industry studies. That is a massive erosion for a brand whose reputation was built on generational trust. Owners are leaving, and they are taking their resale value with them. The Wrangler, once famous for holding its price, now loses nearly half, 48%, of its value in just 3 years. That is a steeper drop than most rivals, and a far cry from the days when a used Wrangler was a hot commodity on any lot. The numbers do not lie. Jeep is charging luxury SUV prices for vehicles with mass-market reliability and recall records that would embarrass a budget brand. The promise of off-road adventure and American heritage does not hold up when owners are left footing the bill for repeated repairs and steep depreciation. In today's market, paying a premium for a Jeep means taking on premium risk without the long-term rewards that buyers once took for granted. A Maserati badge has long promised Italian exclusivity, but the reality for today's buyers is far less romantic. In 2024, Maserati's US sales barely cleared 6,100 units, a plunge from over 15,000 just a decade earlier. The sticker price, however, remains firmly in the stratosphere. A new Ghibli or Levante can run anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000, placing Maserati squarely against the best from Germany and Japan. Yet under the surface, the experience tells a different story. Despite Ferrari-built engines under the hood, owners face a cabin filled with Stellantis-era electronics, switchgear, and infotainment systems borrowed from Chrysler and Dodge. Reviewers and owners alike have pointed to cost-cutting in the interior, from plastic buttons to familiar touchscreens that feel out of place in a 6-figure car. The real blow comes after the initial thrill fades. Maserati finished dead last in the DBOR 2024 Vehicle Dependability Study, logging a staggering 298 problems per 100 vehicles, nearly double the industry average. Electrical glitches, infotainment failures, and persistent warning lights are common complaints, leaving many owners with frequent dealer visits and mounting frustration. For those who hoped a Maserati would hold its value like a true exotic, the numbers are even more alarming. Kelley Blue Book data shows the Ghibli loses between 65% and 70% of its value in just 3 years, meaning a $100,000 sedan can be worth less than $35,000 before its first major service bill arrives. That kind of depreciation outpaces nearly every rival in its class, including brands already flagged for rapid value loss. Behind these numbers is a deeper problem: Maserati's reliance on mass-market components and a patchwork of platforms across the Stellantis portfolio. While the exterior design and engine sound might suggest Italian pedigree, the ownership experience is often undermined by the same reliability headaches and parts bin shortcuts found in far less expensive cars. For buyers, the risk is clear. 6-figure prices buy you a badge and a promise, but not the peace of mind or long-term value expected at this level. In today's market, Maserati stands as a cautionary tale, a luxury brand where the gap between image and reality can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and where dependability is a distant afterthought. Jaguar's November 2024 rebrand did more than rewrite the logo. It wiped out decades of identity in a single press release. The leaping cat and British racing green vanished, and the last links to a heritage built on E-Types and XJs disappeared. A minimalist wordmark appeared, along with the Copy Nothing slogan and a promise to relaunch as an ultra-luxury, electric vehicle-only brand by 2026. For existing owners, the timing could not have been worse. Jaguar stopped sales of nearly all current models, including XF, F-Type, E-Pace, and I-Pace, leaving showrooms with empty floors and dealers with little to sell. The backlash was immediate and overwhelming. Social listening analyses and industry press called it a massive backlash, with criticism and mockery drowning out any positive response. Design commentators described the move as a rebrand without a product, accusing Jaguar of burning its legacy and confusing loyal customers. In the months that followed, Jaguar's European sales collapsed by over 90%. April 2025 saw just 49 cars registered across Europe, down from nearly 2,000 the year before. Year to date, Jaguar's market presence in its home region shrank by nearly 80%, a nosedive rarely seen outside of bankruptcies. The impact on owners is brutal. With the brand's future staked entirely on an untested, high-priced electric vehicle lineup, the value of existing Jaguars has cratered. Consumer Reports rates Jaguar's reliability well below average, and the XF sedan now loses 72% of its value within 3 years, worse than any other luxury nameplate. Dealers left with orphaned inventory and no clear direction from the factory have slashed trade-in offers. Owners who paid $60,000 for a new XF or F-Pace in 2022 are now staring at resale values barely above $15,000, with no guarantee of parts support or service continuity as Jaguar pivots away from its past. The viral scale of the controversy only amplified the damage. The rebrand campaign's videos and posts drew tens of millions of views across platforms, but the attention was hostile, an algorithmic bonfire of brand equity. Analysts warn the move has alienated traditional buyers and poisoned the well for future electric vehicle launches. For those who bought into Jaguar's legacy, the abrupt shift has turned their cars into instant collectibles, just not the kind anyone wants to collect. In the end, Jaguar's all-in bet on reinvention has left current owners holding the bag, with plummeting values and a badge that now stands for little more than a cautionary tale. Tesla once defined the electric car era, and now it is warning buyers about the cost of chasing hype. Reports of panel gaps, uneven paint, and water leaks have become routine, with thousands of owners documenting build issues across social media. Consumer Reports ranked Tesla 23rd out of 30 brands for reliability in 2024, placing it well below the industry average and behind legacy automakers it once aimed to disrupt. Early adopters of the Cybertruck faced a recall for accelerator pedal covers that could dislodge and cause unintended acceleration, while viral posts showed rust stains on stainless steel panels just weeks after delivery. These problems do not end at the assembly line. Owners needing repairs often wait 4 to 6 weeks for service appointments, a delay driven by Tesla's limited service network and parts shortages. Customer satisfaction surveys repeatedly flagged Tesla's after-sales support as the worst in the industry. For buyers, that means even minor issues can turn into major headaches, with cars sidelined for weeks and little recourse for timely help. Depreciation has hit hard. Used Model Y values dropped 35% year over year, while Model 3 values fell 42% in 2024 alone, according to Manheim and Kelley Blue Book data. The rapid slide is driven by price cuts on new Teslas, fierce competition from brands like BYD and Hyundai, and a wave of used inventory flooding the market. A car that was once a status symbol now risks becoming a financial liability, with resale values collapsing faster than nearly any rival. Brand value is on when free fall. A Brand Finance report in 2024 showed Tesla's global brand value dropped 23%, a $24 billion loss in intangible equity. Surveys from Morning Consult and YouGov show a sharp decline in consumer trust, with 45% of potential buyers citing concerns over brand perception and Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk's public behavior. The full self-driving feature costs $12,000 to $15,000. It remains under regulatory scrutiny and subject to class action lawsuits for failing to deliver on its promises. After 8 years of development, drivers still must maintain constant attention. U.S. regulators required Tesla to issue an over-the-air recall that tightened driver monitoring and disengagement protocols. For shoppers, the risks now outweigh the rewards. High prices, mounting quality issues, long service delays, and a brand in retreat from its former dominance all add up to a cautionary tale. Once the undisputed leader in electric vehicles, Tesla now offers buyers more uncertainty than assurance, a pioneer struggling to deliver on the basics while the competition races ahead. Ford's legacy as America's truck powerhouse has unraveled under the weight of mounting quality failures and financial fallout. In Consumer Reports' 2024 reliability rankings, Ford sits near the bottom, outperformed by not only Japanese competitors, but also by Korean and even some Chinese brands. The numbers behind Ford's warranty and recall costs tell a story of systemic breakdown. The company spent $6.3 billion on warranty claims in 2024, double what it paid just 5 years earlier, according to SEC filings. This surge reflects a wave of technical problems across the lineup, from high-profile recalls to class action lawsuits. Bronco's much-hyped return became a headache for thousands of owners after hardtop failures, engine stalling, and roof leaks forced Ford into costly replacements and technical service bulletins. Meanwhile, the F-150 Lightning, Ford's flagship electric truck, faced 3 separate production halts in 2023 and 2024, triggered by battery defects and quality concerns. Real-world range fell up to 40%, below EPA estimates when towing or in cold weather, leaving owners with performance that did not match the marketing. Early buyers who paid $95,000 for a Lightning saw their trucks lose $35,000 to $40,000 in value within 18 months, according to Manheim and Kelley Blue Book data. Price cuts and heavy incentives only deepened the depreciation, pushing many owners underwater on their loans. Transmission issues have become another financial minefield. Ford's 10-speed automatic, the 10R80, used in F-50s, Explorers, and Expeditions since 2017, has been at the center of class action lawsuits covering more than 1.5 million vehicles. Plaintiffs allege harsh shifting, slipping, and outright failures, with out-of-warranty repairs often running $6,000 to $8,000. Court filings and NHTSA complaints document years of owner frustration and repeated trips to the dealer. Ford's own financial disclosures link rising warranty reserves directly to transmission and powertrain claims. The Mustang Mach-E, marketed as a bold leap into the electric future, has struggled with software bugs, infotainment freezes, and charging failures. In 2024, Ford slashed Mach-E prices by over $10,000 to move inventory, erasing resale value for early adopters. Resale guides show that Mach-E owners who bought new have faced some of the steepest value drops in the EV segment. Loyalty, once Ford's greatest asset, is in decline. F-Series trucks, long the best-selling vehicles in America, have lost hundreds of thousands of sales compared to their pre-pandemic peak. Loyalty rates for F-Series buyers have slipped from 72% in 2019 to 58% in 2024, as Toyota, Ram, and Chevrolet captured disillusioned customers. The financial impact is severe. Ford's stock price has stagnated, trailing far behind GM and Toyota, while the company's warranty and recall expenses have ballooned. For today's buyer, Ford's badge no longer guarantees quality or value. Instead, it signals risk of breakdowns, lost resale, and a shrinking safety net as the brand scrambles to recover from its own quality crisis. Across all 15 brands, one pattern is clear. Reputation means nothing without real lasting quality. Decades of legacy can vanish in a few years when reliability fails and customers lose trust. In today's market, loyalty is earned, never owed. The real cost is not just money lost, but confidence shattered. The automotive world rewards brands that listen, adapt, and respect their buyers, and everyone else gets left behind. Which brand still has your trust? Let us know in the comments.